I feel an overwhelming sense of relief he is dead. I lay in bed too many nights wondering whose life he is destroying now. I know now he isn't hurting any more children and their loved ones. Sexual abuse does not just affect the victim.
All right, another one of the stories we're covering tonight in our Crime Time segment. We bring in our own experts with lots of experience and insight. Still with us tonight, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee. Also with us, Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Great to have you both here. Next story coming to us from KMTV in Omaha, Nebraska. A sex offender murdered.
Saturday morning, Omaha police respond to a shooting at a home near 43rd and Pinckney. 64-year-old Matteo Condalucci is found dead inside. Condalucci is a registered sex offender and served a 5-year prison sentence for sexually assaulting a child in 2006 in Sarpy County, and was also convicted in Florida of a similar crime in 1993. He got probation in that case. 43-year-old James Fairbanks is booked for his murder and is at the Douglas County Jail. Prosecutors believe Fairbanks sent an anonymous email to local media explaining why he allegedly did it. It explains the killer knew about Condalucci's past crimes against children and saw him staring at kids playing near his home. It later says the killer worked with kids for years that have been victimized and couldn't allow Condalucci to do it to anyone else. It also gives details of the alleged murder weapon and crime scene. Fairbanks has been a paraprofessional with Omaha Public Schools for about the last 3.5 years. The mother of one of Condalucci's child victims started a Facebook page in 2016 to make people aware of what they say is a predator that moves from state to state, preying on single mothers to get his hands on child victims, and that he's back on the streets. Now, a number of comments saying that they should free James Fairbanks and help pay for an attorney to defend him. Some have even called him a hero. In a written response, Lisa Smith, the mother of one of Condalucci's child victims, who lives out of state, says, quote, I feel an overwhelming sense of relief he is dead. I lay in bed too many nights wondering whose life he is destroying now. I know now he isn't hurting any more children and their loved ones. Sexual abuse does not just affect the victim. The Omaha Police Department wouldn't comment, saying the investigation is ongoing. The Douglas County Attorney's Office will respond once Fairbanks is formally charged. Some on social media wonder if Fairbanks is convicted, if he'll have to serve more prison time than Condalucci ever did.
All right, this is a difficult one. Have you ever seen a confession like this, though? He writes the letter out explaining everything. Lieutenant Colonel, let me start with you.
I've never personally dealt with anything like this, Vinny, but you know, you get kind of caught in the middle there, because no law enforcement officer would ever condone vigilantism, but you have to empathize somewhat with Mr. Fairbanks. Although he did commit a crime, this person that he killed was someone who was a very, very bad person who probably was not going to stop what he was doing, apparently. But so it puts you in a precarious position as an officer. You have to do your job. You have to make the arrest, but it doesn't mean that you can't feel some way, some form of empathy for the situation.
Sergeant, you ever come across one like this?
No, personally, I have not, but I have a problem with this gentleman taking the law into his own hands. Listen, he's a horrible individual and he did some awful things, but we can't speak to what's in his head or what he might do. And so what we need to do is look at changing the laws that would allow someone who can't be rehabilitated, who has a proclivity to molesting and abusing children in the way that he did, lock him up and leave him in jail forever. Because where do we draw the line? If it's okay to kill somebody who molested children and is looking at them, what do we do about someone who rapes women and may be found oogling at a woman? Do we kill him too because I can't sleep at night on the off chance that he may rape again, break into a house, steal a Snickers from a grocery store? Where do you draw the line? You don't get to take the law into your own hands.
Lieutenant Colonel, how do you think Fairbanks is being treated in jail?
Probably well. That's one of those situations. Unfortunately, in jail, there's a different type of society going on behind those walls. And if you hurt a police officer, you're treated well. If you hurt an individual that kills or maims children or rapes women, you're not going to be treated well. So Mr. Condalucci would have a rough time in prison, whereas Mr. Fairbanks probably would not.
Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee, Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, always great to have you on the show. Please come back again.